Hey everyone, it's that time of the year again, where kids knock on your door for treats while threatening you, and where we gather with our friends to tell each other spooky stories all night. Well, World of Warcraft also celebrates Halloween with the infamous holiday event Hallow's End. That's right, this event is finally back, and it's quite different from both Classic and Retail's Hallow's End. So in this video, we're gonna explore what Hallow's End has to unveil for us, from goofy cosmetic items to a world buff that works in raids despite world buffs being removed, to a super rare mount that can walk and fly and that only a handful of players will be able to obtain. This event is lasting from October 18th to November 1st, at least in theory. Blizzard hasn't been the most consistent when it comes to TBC holiday events, and today we're gonna unveil everything it has in store for us. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, as we usually do with these holiday event videos, let's first talk about what you're most interested in first, the rewards. And Hallow's End has quite a lot to offer. However, unfortunately, most of these are RNG dependent, as this event doesn't have a dedicated vendor like Brewfest or Winter Veil, for example. So you'll have to get these things to drop for you. Anyway, so Hallow's End obviously has a lot of goofy cosmetic items, from masks that give you quote-unquote the appearance of another race, to wands that change the appearance of someone into a selection of creatures, or even give them a jack-o'-lantern head for an hour. But those are just cosmetics. You can obtain most of these from just doing the daily or talking to an innkeeper. But what you can obtain too is the victory buff. This is interesting because it gives you a bonus of about 10 to every main stat in the game, and most importantly, this works inside raids. So if you're either in a competitive guild or one that is struggling to clear tier 5 for example, you should probably tell them about this to give you an edge. More about where to obtain this later. Also, speaking of making your character more powerful, there's quite a few epic gear items to obtain from Hallow's End. All of them drop from the Headless Horseman, which we're gonna talk about more later. But from him, you can obtain a selection of rings that are on par with tier 4 content. The Horseman's Blade, an awesome sword for rogues and warriors, which is basically a copy of Spite Blade from Nether Spite, except you have 5 to 10 chances to get it every day. Again, more on that later. And finally, probably what most of you will be after is the mounts. So in Hallow's End, there's 3 types of mounts. You have the rickety magic broom. This thing is hardly a mount, as it doesn't give you any bonus speed. It's as if you're walking, so you're better off not using it. Either way, you get it from doing the daily, which we'll talk about in a second. Then you have the magic broom. This is quite a common drop from Headless Horseman, and the particularity with this mount, other than the fact that it only lasts 14 days, is that it goes up in speed depending on your riding skill. So it can either go at 60 or 100% in Azeroth, and it even goes up to 280% and flies in Outland. You'll see there's other types of magic brooms in the game files if you check Wowhead, but as far as I'm concerned, those have been removed from the Headless Horseman's loot table, and basically the regular blue magic broom does everything. But obviously, the cream of the crop, and what you're probably after in this event, is the Horseman's Reins. A very rare horse mount that can not only walk, but also fly. This is a first of its kind in the game, and actually, I thought this would be more rare than it is, but I did see a couple players with it in Shatterat. So I guess it is rare, but not as insanely rare as we all expected. So do start working on that. Anyways, let's now move on to the actual event and see what you can do to unlock all these rewards. So first off, let's talk about the quests. There isn't many quests or daily quests in Hallow's End as there is in other holiday events. First, you have the breadcrumb quest called Consumed Orphan Matron. This will lead you to the matron in either one of 3 starting areas for your faction. Just head to the closest one, turn in the quest, and get the next one called Fire Brigade Practice. This quest teaches you how to set off fires for when the Headless Horseman attacks the village every half an hour or so. So do that if you want, but honestly, it doesn't reward anything interesting, so you can just skip it if you want. What you do want to do is the daily for setting off the fires put by the Headless Horseman. So it seems like every 15 or 30 minutes this event starts, and you'll basically have to do exactly what you did for the previous quest, except you'll want a lot of players here to help you. After you set off all the fires, the Headless Horseman will finally land and you can just one-shot him as he's only level 11, and you can get the daily from the pumpkin he spawns. After you turn in this daily, you'll be rewarded with crudely wrapped gift, and a not so shabby 12 gold at level 70. The crudely wrapped gift contains a bunch of cosmetics, the useless mount we talked about earlier, and probably the most important thing you'll get is the victory buff, which also works inside raids and gives you a bonus to every main stat. It only gives you about 10 to every stat at level 70, but I bet this will be very helpful for speedrunning guilds or just guilds that are still struggling with tier 5 progress in general. Next up, while we're here, let's talk about the trick or treat innkeeper option. If you talk to any innkeeper around the world during this event, you'll see this option on them. If you click it, you'll receive a treat bag. This contains some food, which is useful for leveling, and also a bunch of goofy items. Near the innkeepers, you'll also see these candy buckets. Those are more interesting because they reward you 3 gold 75 at level 70. And considering there's hundreds of inns around the world, this could be a very easy way to make a few hundred gold by going around the world. It's also worth noting these items you get from opening candy buckets. Those only give a small amount of stats, but they can all be stacked. They don't overwrite any other consumable, including food buffs, and they also work inside raids, so you're better off using them. Why not? They're easy to get and stack with anything else. One more interesting thing you can do during Hallow's End is obtaining the Wicker Man buff. Unlike in Classic, where it gave increased health and mana regen and a whopping 25% more stamina, in TBC it only gives 10% bonus experience for 2 hours. So this is quite useful while leveling, for Horde players only, because in order to get this buff as an Alliance player, you need to kill a level 60 elite mob near Undercity and click on an ember he drops. You could probably wait a bit for an Alliance player to kill the mob, but really I don't think it's worth getting this buff if you're Alliance. For Horde though, to get it, they only need to click on a Wickerman ember at the base of the statue, which will always be there, so definitely recommended for Horde players leveling. So next up, what you definitely want to be doing is picking up the quest for the Headless Horseman from a matron of your faction. Doing this will allow you to summon the Headless Horseman twice. This is not the same one you killed earlier, by the way, for the daily in Goldshire or whatnot. This is a level 70 horseman in Scarlet Monastery that you can summon once a day or twice for the first time if you have this quest. Just like it's the case with a lot of these holiday bosses, each one of your party members can summon the boss with their own daily. So this means you can summon him 5 times in total. But since we just said you can also summon him one more time with the initial quest you pick from Goldshire or Durotar, this means that if everyone in your group also has this one-time quest, you can summon him 10 times in total for the first time. Then obviously it will only be 5 times the following days, assuming you do it with the same people. But basically how this works is you enter Scarlet Monastery Graveyard, run to the end of the dungeon, which is quite small, and click the big pumpkin near the crypt to the left to pick the daily. Once you pick the daily or turn in the initial one-time only quest, you can then click the loosely turned soil behind the pumpkin, and shortly after the horseman will appear. So this fight is quite simple, you really don't need much of anything to pull this off, but you definitely want people to be level 70 at least. How this works is every time you get the Headless Horseman's health down to 0%, his head will start flying to a random location. Then you'll have to kill his head. His health will go back to 100%, and you basically want to do this process again twice until he's dead. On the third phase, he will also summon a bunch of pumpkin fiends. I suggest just ignoring them and focus on the horseman and his head instead until he's dead. But yeah, after that you loot him, you wait for the big pumpkin to respawn, you or someone in your group clicks on it, the boss appears again, you kill him, rinse and repeat until everyone is out of dailies or one-time quests. Again, you can do this up to 10 times in total if everyone has a one-time quest and a daily, or 5 times if people already did the one-time quest and only have the daily. As I said earlier, the horseman drops 3 different rings, a sword, 2 mounts, the magic broom and the horseman's reins, and also a pet. get the Sinister Squashling. There will always be one ring that drops, but the rest of the items are not guaranteed to drop. Either way, you can do this 5 times every day for 14 days. That's 70 attempts in total. Good luck on getting this mount or whatever you're after. And that's pretty much everything there is to know about Hallow's End. For a quick recap on the most important things, do the daily in Goldshire or Durotar to get your 12 gold and the Victory World buff before your raid if you want it. Go around the world inns clicking the candy buckets to make a couple hundred gold. And most importantly, do your daily runs of Headless Horseman in Scarlet Monastery for a chance at obtaining the mount or the epic item of your choice. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the Classic WoW Curios channel for more content like this. I will see you guys in the next one very soon. Bye for now.